Another MLB offseason, full of Tampa Bay Rays drama. We got to get you all caught up in this. But can we just bring them to Montreal? Let's go. So, of course, all this started when Hurricane Milton hit Tampa Bay and destroyed the roof at Tropicana Field. So then the drama really started here as to who is responsible for the roof and when are the Rays going to be able to play again? Well, we know part of the answer. The Rays are going to move to the New York Yankees Single A ballpark, George Steinbrenner Field, for the 2025 season. Is this a good thing for Major League Baseball? Absolutely not, especially considering the Athletics are already playing in a minor league stadium. But the question is, could the roof be repaired in time and get the Rays back to the Trop sooner rather than later? And as it turns out, it's not going to happen in the 2025 season. Thankfully, we have a place for the Rays. Great. Life is good. We're moving on. But then on November 21st, the St. Petersburg City Council dropped a bombshell by voting to say that they would not repair the roof of Tropicana Field, even though legally they are obligated. In fact, they voted in favor of repairing the roof, and then later that same day, turned around and rejected the notion to put towards $23 million to have the roof repaired at Tropicana Field, even though it's going to take $56 million expected total to completely and totally repair the roof. All of this is now putting the Rays in limbo, especially considering they're supposed to be moving into a new ballpark in 2028. And on December 2nd, the Rays said their new $1.3 billion stadium build is still in effect, but will not be ready until 2029 now. This becomes a problem because there's going to create overages and overruns in the expenses, and the Rays are responsible for these overages. But then after the American election, Pinellas County delays the vote on the bonds that would be funding for the Rays Stadium. In fact, they've delayed it twice now and have pushed it off as far as December 17th. This funding was supposed to already be in effect, but two of the biggest supporters on the county lost their seats in the election, and now it's expected that it's potential there to have it voted down. And with the county expected to put forward funds of $312 million in bonds for this build of the ballpark, a vote of no would simply eliminate the Rays' chances of ever putting this ballpark in Pinellas County and a new long-term home in St. Petersburg for the Rays. And to go along with this, the Rays have already put $50 million forward into the project already, since it was expected to have been completed this past summer. Now, the biggest catch of this is there's 65 acres of land that the Rays have control of in this purchase. By the city going forward and saying yes, then the Rays are guaranteed to this land. It is some of the most valuable land in St. Petersburg. So if Pinellas County turns around and votes no on this, the Rays actually get to keep the land, and this becomes a huge bargaining chip in terms of leverage. Now, if Pinellas County comes forward and says yes, the city has already voted yes. If the Rays turn around and terminate the agreement, then they lose the land. So this land may be the biggest part of this deal and the value that comes with it. Of course, if this deal falls through, then the long-term standing of the Rays in Tampa, St. Petersburg area is going to cause serious questions. And you have to think that there's going to be other ownerships in new locales stepping up to talk to owner Stuart Sternberg about a potential sale and move of the team. Nashville would fit this so well in terms of location. They've got a 10,000 seat minor league stadium. That might be a potential home for the Rays until the new ballpark could be built in Nashville. The exact same thing could be said of Charlotte, North Carolina. There's interest there for a Major League Baseball expansion team. How about just bringing the Rays over to Charlotte? A 10,000 seat minor league stadium already exists for their AAA team as well. And of course, there's the big push for the move to Orlando. There's an ownership group already in place in Orlando that could potentially purchase the Rays and move them to Orlando. The issue is there's no short-term home for the team in Orlando with no AAA stadium that would be able to hold the Rays. Although maybe this is a longer term plan where the Rays play out the next 3 to 4 years at the minor league stadium of the Yankees at George Steinbrenner Field, and in the long term move to a brand new ballpark once it's ready in a new location. But what are the possibilities of moving them to the Montreal and have the return of the Expos? Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, all those hoping for a potential return of the Expos. Olympic Stadium is under reconstruction and would not even be available until 2028. So any potential chance of moving the Rays to Montreal are simply going to be dashed because they would need a short-term home. If their team would stay for 3 or 4 years in Tampa and then move to Montreal, that's a possibility, just like the possibility of any of these other locations. But I think the goal would be to move the team sooner rather than later to get some long-term stability. But once again, the Tampa Bay Rays are holding up any and all possibilities of Major League Baseball expansion, because how do you expand a league when you've got two teams playing in minor league stadiums? We know the athletic situation is going to be resolved. It's time for the Rays to figure this out. And the simplest way to figure this out, Pinellas County needs to vote yes, and the Rays need to agree this is the best situation for them long term. So all we can do is wait and see and pay attention on December 17th. How is the vote going to go, and will we have a Tampa Bay Rays team long term? Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of another video here in 3 Up, 3 Down. I greatly appreciate all your guys' support as my time away. I'm hoping to get back to making more and more off-season videos. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.